Alright, what's up guys? My name is Jason, and I want to show you Vantage in competitive, okay? Let's get into it. So, the characters Vantage works well with, okay? We're going to start right now with Octane. Octane leading that charge, okay? He's going to be someone that's going to bring Vantage into that next world, just like padding into a team with him giving the rise to the Fuse. Okay, so this is coming, but let's talk about the characters right now that Vantage are working best with. Bangalore. Vantage has always worked well with Bangalore. Being able to scan something really quick, see where the people are. Remember, the genius thing about Vantage is every single time you can tag up to 3 people now. So I can tag in ADS 3 people real quick, throw the bang smoke, now we're fighting. It's broken, okay? And the tag works, and it lasts for a while. Bangalore always works well with Vantage. Okay, now also, she got the nerf. Yes, the stars were great to trap someone, easy shots, but you know what? I'm not going to talk about Ashe right now unless there's a little bit of a complete rework with her where it's a more interesting version. Works well with Alter, being able to, you know, if I'm holding with Vantage a certain side or a certain angle and something goes wrong, I can go right back to my teammates. So Vantage is an IGL into a co-IGL at the same time by scanning and always looking, but it's always scanning, it's always looking. It's always seeing what's going on with Vantage. That's the goal, okay? So Caustic, being able to, again, ping people in the gas. Problem, again, that everyone thinks is that Vantage can't play small when you're, you know, when you're in a building or this or that. Yes, the goal is to always get high ground, okay? Goal is always to find the best spots in the map to get high ground, okay? The best spots in the map to get high ground, like up here and in, you know, over here or whatever, okay? So my point is, we'll get to that in a second, but my point is finding the heights. But yes, Vantage can also use the sniper to hold doors. She can also ping people in the caustic gas. So she also works really well with caustic for those reasons in those close range where you can ping really quick. You know where they are. You make a play in these buildings if you need to. Okay. So again, it's very interesting though with, you know, yes, there'll be some reworks of Conduit, but it works interesting with Crypto and also works with Sparrow Vantage. Very interesting having multiple scans, being able to see what's going on at far, and then using the drone for certain things. You know, the Vantage Bat might be able to be thrown to get the beacon eventually, which I'm hoping, which should be. So that's all I want to say. But, you know, let's continue real quick. So, again, with Vantage is constantly looking, and if there is an Octane that's an IGL or an Alter that is an IGL, it works really great as a co-IGL Vantage, okay? Letting you know what's going on. Okay, so we're not going to talk about Fuse real quick. Mirage and Bad Maggie and Lifeline. Vantage brings Lifeline into the picture. It's a very interesting character to push. Lifeline, Vantage will start to bring, this is what I've always thought, Lifeline into the picture. Being able to throw yourself back into the ring when you need it, so she can play off a little bit Vantage, and having that security of Lifeline if you need it. It's a very interesting thing, just like with the Conduit. But, you know, it's an interesting idea. Okay, Mad Maggie, next in the top 3. Amazing. You can ping where people are. The thing about Mad Maggie is that Vantage now can scan the ring, and Vantage can scan the beacon. So, you know, it's nice to have that with the Newcastle, right? If you're going to do something like that, Vantage obviously works well. But Newcastle, now you don't need the Rampart Vantage combo. On Blue Advantage, you can see people once you tag them through walls and stuff. It's nice, but having the Mad Maggie in the Vantage is incredible, especially with the Newcastle or the Rampart with shields, because now you could pinpoint where people are. Vantage can move, try to snipe them down. A lot of times people are hiding behind rocks. You use the Mad Maggie, see where they are. Vantage goes to his side, to the left side. They're hiding behind the rock still. Boom. Get the sniper, 1 shot, 2 shots, whatever it takes. Now you guys are full sending it. So Mad Maggie and Vantage. Okay. Mirage also Advantage. Being able to throw the Mirage and see where the bamboozles are, see where people are in the area to then use Vantage to strategize. I'm not saying it's the best, but there are ideas here with the Mirage with Vantage. Okay. That's all I'm going to say. But yes, throwing the bamboozle out, you know, you're getting a lot of scanning ability, but also, you know, I've tried it for years in ranked. Don't play with enough Mirage players, but there is something there with Vantage where you can scan and you can strategize and say, okay, I think the team's over here. I ping them. You throw out the Mirage, and then you're getting the Mirage to do something, because a lot of the times when you're throwing out the Mirage and you have 1 or 2, you know, it's good, but it's not used so much in competitive. So I think that there's a lot of strategy there with Mirage Bamboozles that you can do, and Vantage can help that along. Okay, I got there. Great. Beautiful. Let's move on. Obviously, Newcastle, Vantage Newcastle, absolutely incredible with something like an Octane. Octane leading that charge with Vantage and scanning ability to make plays, jump in and pounce on a team. And again, having the sniper, having a shield with Vantage, you could play that really, really close game, and you can use the Octane pad if you need to go somewhere. Rampart Vantage, best in the game. If you want to use Vantage scanning, behind people, you don't want to use Vantage for a scanning and a ring console, you can use the Rampart. And when I tag through the Rampart shield, and when I tag someone and our teammate then shoots through the Rampart shield, it's Vantage and plus Vantage damage. Rampart plus Vantage damage. It's broken. Broken. I got to tag through the shield. And then once I tag and the person's tagged and our teammate's shooting, it is one clips. Okay? So again, Vantage is going to bring rise to the Revenant. Vantage gives rise to the Revenant. Tag, quick jump, boom. Win that 1v1. Remember, every single time you tag with Vantage, again, you're getting a percentage. So if I tag with Vantage and the Octane pushes in or the Revenant pushes in, you're going to win that 1v1 because there's a percentage when the person's tagged of damage that gets applied. I don't understand why we can't understand that concept. It's the best concept ever. If I tag someone and now you're going with that 1v1 and you need to win that 1v1 and that person's tagged and you're going to win that 1v1 now because every shot that you put on that person, there's more damage. Do you understand? So that's the whole point. Vantage can play that small pace game, really, really fast angles and stuff by using ADS or the Vantage sniper out. And again, I'm just going to say this real quick because we're on Vantage. Now, I made it in my last video. Watch the last video. It's all about Vantage. 300 with the 25 plus 75 now on the Vantage. 75 on purple. I have 75 plus 25. I have 300 now. I'm just like Revenant. One of the strongest in the game, and you can use your Vantage sniper in the last ring. That's what the video is about. In the last ring, you take the Vantage sniper out and you play that game, and then you go in ADS and you ping, and you'll be able to do stuff. It works. Okay, Watson and Wraith, also really good combos with Vantage. Okay, very interesting. They're interesting. Okay, and that's it. So again, looking at the 1, 2, 3, right? Mad Maggie with the 4, right? Caustic with the 5, Alter, Bangalore. Bangalore also in that top 3 could be, Alter, just focusing on those, okay? Mad Maggie, and then bringing in these other characters like the Mirage and the Lifeline and testing that out. Okay, so here's the deal. Look, we're looking at height. All we're focusing on is height, okay? So again, there's a lot of height. For an example, every single map. Got to figure out to get those high grounds. This obviously is a shit show. It's really, really tough. If you have the Mirage or the Rampart, it's good because you can lock yourself if someone's going to pounce on you. But, it's nice also these spots where you have some height here, right? And all you got to really is defend in that team that's kind of pushing here. But there's a lot of rings that end right over here also in this area. So getting that high ground advantage up here on this building, being able to see, you can look at the door coming into here. You can look at here. There's going to be a team obviously on the nut over here. So, looking at that and being able to get that person that's now going all the way on the zip line, you hit them with the Vantage. Boom. Okay? So my point is looking at those spots. Vantage is also great over here, right? Now, Vantage shines. Vantage shines on District EMAP and Olympus, but also shines on Stormpoint, okay? So, again, a lot of high grounds here, but it's not the most ideal because if you're going to, you get Alter queued up and now you're playing inside real quick. So, I'm talking about here, high ground here, boom. Getting that high ground up here. This building up here is really, really key. So trying to play this building too by pushing off multiple teams with the Vantage. Vantage is about pushing teams and holding teams and getting those downs. If you need to get those downs, that's what Vantage is going to do. More points on the board. That's the whole point of Vantage, is getting more points on the board by getting more knocks. Okay? Once I tag someone, he's one, boom, we're going to get him down because every time I tag, there's more damage on top. Okay, so again, holding these high angles. Okay, but I'm really focusing on... again, here, boom, high ground, up on here. Use the Newcastle, the Rampart to block the shield right in this door. Now I have that entire high ground. I'm feeling good. If something goes wrong, I go back, okay? So that's what my point. Again, right over here, okay? On Beast is also very, very good. There's a lot of spots advantage. Being on here, I hold off so many people for years in ranked. For years, so many. People don't know what the fuck to do. Okay. Again, don't like playing in this area over here. Really, really bad for Vantage, obviously. But again, there's some end games that end right in here, in the back. Okay. And the most important spot is always right here on this ledge. It's not in the buildings. It's here, holding here. There's a couple rings, and I think they might happen eventually one day, but there are some rings that end right in this spot. It's a really interesting spot, but the best place is right in the back here because you have the high ground. It's one of the highest ground places. Can't really play, the problem is that you can't really play here in this house. I think it's either this house or this house because it's just a bad shape. It never works. But there is a ring that ends right here where you get the crafter. Okay, so again, that's what I'm talking about. Again, high ground, boom. You can lock up so many places and look at people and you know, if they want to push, they want to push, and then you play the game. Let it happen. Okay? But again, bad spot for Vantage. Used to be great when they had it. You can be on the roof for like a week, and then they nerfed that. That was I could have been the best player in the game when that happened. I was just destroying. I remember you can go to the top of the roof. Remember that? I don't know if you guys remember that, obviously. Okay, again, another high ground area. Not the best for Vantage, though. Unfortunately, I hate that. But guess what? It usually doesn't end there. So, you know, there are some, obviously, rings that end there. But there are rings that end here, okay? I would like to say it's good for Vantage, but it's not really. What I mean by that is, like, you could bundle up, though, with Vantage and hang out over here. So, like, right in this area. Am I in the right spot? Yeah. So, you can hang out with Vantage over here. It's not terrible. You can look at these teams with the Newcastle and stuff. I like that better than being anywhere on, you know, in this bottom area. Listen, Vantage can also work from the high ground. You know, you can get shots up at people real quick and bundle in one of these buildings. But, you know, I like playing more, I think, more the outskirts. And then figuring out where to pounce on, moving your way in, I think is better. You know, but again, another key spot is right here. So again, right this area right here. Vantage is great by holding off this push, right? Because there's always going to be someone in a building over here and over here, right? So if there are going to be people over here, then you're holding off a lot of these teams. You're also holding that height that gets annoying from a team up here that are hanging out in this area. So you got one Vantage can take care of, two. Any person that's going to always hang out here, you have three Vantage can take care of. Okay, you know, you're scouting that, making sure no one's pushing this area. And then again, you have people coming up from here, from this side, there's always going to be a team out here, right? So they're going to try to push in. So you can also, you know, help that. It's not the best though because it's a little bit of a hill. So there's a little bit of a dip here. So now you're at the mercy of this push. So I don't love it, but if we're going to talk about this, we can, you know, you got to go over every single part of what the best spot is. Obviously, it's right here. This is the height, right? That's the highest part. So yes, Vantage is going to work great there. All right, so always go for that. It's just in theory, right? Okay, so that's it, man. Just want to make that video, and yeah, let's get it. We're happy to make it. Let's, you know. Again, it's going to be all strategizing, you know, knowing where all the other teams are, you know, obviously, you know, who's going to rotate into, you know, command and who's going to do certain things. But, you know, finding those patterns where you know the rotates, you know, maybe you start off here and you're like, hey, you know, you start off, for example, you start off here, the ring is ending all the way here, right? Like in that ALGS game. So the ring is going to end right here on the third pillar. It's always right here underneath, right? So if it's going to end like right in this range, that means, you know, you're looking for that high ground. Let's say you can't get it. So let's go over an example. Perfect. You land here. You look at this push. They're fighting. You decide you don't want to go there because the ring, you find out, is over here, ending over here. So now you got to make that thing. So you take the jump thing. You go all the way down to try to fight this, right? You hope that, you know, wall, you know, maybe you can get to this building really, really quick. Maybe you guys decide to chill in here for 5 minutes because you have some options, right? Love this spot over here. Really cool spot. So you can chill out here, hang out, you know, maybe hold this backside over here, making sure, you know, nothing's getting the push. And then you start walking your way in, possibly from the other side. Use the, you know, there's always a car here. I believe there's a car here. And you bring that, or there's a car around this area. You know, wall's going to move in. They're probably going to, you know, hold off this area. So now you got to deal with them. But, you know, you figure it out. Maybe you decide to go into the water and you just all hang out. No one sees you. And you go all the way to here. Now you're here for a second, let's just say. Or you want to get some spot. You know, your obvious choice is to get here. Now, let's say you can't get it. So, again, there are ways where you just need a little bit of a rock. So let's talk about it. if you can get to right here, let's say the ring is going to end like here or here. If you can get to this rock and lock it in with a Newcastle or a Rampart, Vantage works fine. Because Vantage has so many long range, and you could hold off, boom, big shots over here where people don't want to fuck with you. And the best thing about Vantage now is on the Vantage Sniper, you can see it, and you can still see the laser, and that's a good thing. So now you can see the laser. People, the point is that, yes, I was able to get more people down before the laser. So when you shoot the laser with Vantage, you can see it now. You can watch in the other video, but you can see it for a little bit, okay? However, now you can now hold it, because you can hold it for 8 seconds. And I'm going to say, you want to peek again. People aren't going to peek. Now you have the ability to strategize. That's what Vantage gives, the ability to strategize. That's the genius of Vantage, the ability to make other strategy. So if I'm here locked up in the building, and we know maybe it's going to end here. We thought it was going to go here, but now it's going to end here, for example, okay? Or any space, again, any space you want to hold, okay? Vantage is great, because Vantage is going to give you long range to push people off of you, and all you got to worry about is this fucking team over here, okay? And then if you had Octane, you pad in, because it's going to end over here in the rock, and now you're holding up this. So Vantage can work also in these spaces where a lot of the times you might need to go to, okay? So just for finishing the video, let's say it does end here, and you have problems. So you're running into problems now. You have people over here. You decided that you couldn't go into wall because there was too much pressure. You decided to take the thing. So now you're like in here, and it ends over here. So you got to make either the treacherous journey over here. You have this team pushing into. There's someone locked up here. There's a fight finishing right here, which right? And then the other side, you got people coming from here. They're going to take a car. Maybe they still have the car on top of Beast. They're going all into here. So you have all this pressure going into here. Plus you got a team all the way up top that's shooting. They got Rampart shields. They got everything. You don't know what to do. It's going to end in this area. So your only goal is to say, hey, we got to, pad over to here, lock up here, and then maybe just go underground, and we're going to fight this underground. This Vantage can hold the entire space here with the Vantage Sniper. I can hold this entire way, the whole bottom part. Okay? Just by blocking up the shields, anyone peeks, they're done. So I could hold this entire spot. Now we have a lot of fights on the top. And then that's going to be our play there, in a sense, right? Or we're going to pad to the top, and we're going to fight for it. Vantage has the ability, and I'll finish it like this. First off, when you're about to heal, or you need to heal, you pop a bat or a cell or whatever, and then you throw the bird in the air, and really, really quick. So you begin the animation to pop the heal, throw the bird in the air, and now you heal in the air like Horizon. And with the Octane, now I can heal 100%. No one understands this. No one fucking gets this one point with Vantage. Is that what? Now I can jump on the Octane pad in the air, high in the air, and I can heal. You jump, throw the bird up in the air, and you heal in the air like Horizon, and no one gets that, which is just whatever, man. That's why I'm making the video, I guess. Fuck. All right. So another play with Vantage, what I was trying to say, is that Vantage can full send the height. Vantage has the ability to full send the height. Newcastle jumps on top of you now, and now you're here. That's the best play. Now, they were getting pressure on, because remember, any team that's up here, you're going to get pressure on, okay? So you're going to get pressure on. So my point is that maybe they're getting a lot of pressure. You see a lot of thing is going on. You can just hug the wall here, because, chances are there's not going to be a team here too much, right? The team that pushes, are going to hold. The team that landed here and they know the ring's going, they're going to hold here. Okay, number one, done. We're going to have a team that are pushing in here. There's going to be a team on these different areas. But, at the end of the day, there's going to be a people coming into here. People are coming into there, bro. So, is what it is. So there's a good chance that this is safe. You pad up here, you pad at the same time the Newcastle gets thrown. Vantage goes first, lands up top. Newcastle and Octane are here, and now you're putting pressure on this team. You're throwing them down. Now they're down below. You've got the whole height. Okay? Or the Octane pad, or the Ash, or the Wraith takes the portal in over here. Throw the Newcastle shield. Vantage now has the sniper on the door. Good luck. That's the type of plays with Vantage. Anyway, so happy to make this video. Yeah, I obviously want to coach. Okay, but, let me know. I would love to go over ideas, because it'll be amazing with the team. So that's what I'm trying to do. That's why I'm setting the video. Let's get it. Thank you for watching.